So I'm Don Saunders and chef at the Kenwood restaurant. Well, new dishes always, for me, start with seasonal ingredients or maybe a specific ingredient that I want to work with. Like, so seasonal meaning, I'm looking at the month coming up, and like in this case right now, those late summer things, it's a really cool time of year. Because in Minnesota it's like the one time of year where all the local stuff is like, getting harvested. So tomatoes and zucchinis and eggplants and on and on and on. But heirloom tomatoes, as an example, would be something that every August we look forward to. So I'm gonna use that as a focal point of maybe one or two dishes and then build off of that. Or it doesn't have to be seasonal, it could be a protein, like I haven't worked with bluefin tuna in a long time and have the desire to get that in and run a dish with it. So then I'll use, and go off of that. It's important too, in like the restaurant, the menu, how the menu looks as a whole too. And so I can look at a menu and say, we're really lacking like a steak. And looking at our menu and our clientele, like we don't have a steak, we really need. So that can drive it to like how the menu looks as a whole, and if there's any holes in the menu or something that maybe our customers would want that we don't do. So that's, I think, where the initial idea comes from, either a protein I want to work with or seasonal ingredients coming up, or something maybe that's customer, like I can see the customer wanting that, or it's something rounding out our menu. And then how I build dishes off of those ingredients that I want to work with, for me it's mostly looking at a couple like classic flavor combinations. Say the heirloom tomato example. Other ingredients and flavors will start popping into my mind that I did not invent, but someone hundreds of years ago invented, and it's been redone a million times. So tomato and basil, or tomato and a soft cheese like mozzarella or burrata, or and then also maybe doing a classic one that's a little more off the beaten path, or at least in this market's eye, like one that I came up with, or that I was toying around with. I didn't come up with it again, this is like based on classics, but beets pairing with anchovies is like something that sounds wacky and something that I came up with. In fact, it's like very classic in certain cuisines and going way back. So that flavor combination works extremely well together. And I probably either learned about it from another chef or read about it in a cookbook or a magazine or online. Saw a dish that had beets and anchovies and got intrigued and so did that direction. But so it's almost like the combination of a couple ingredients is where I steal from classics and other people having done them before. And then where the creative process to make it my own dish comes in is everything after that. I want to like take that from my own brain and not go read a cookbook and rip off a recipe or look at a picture and try to recreate that dish, but just take like, all right, beets and anchovies go good together. What else goes with anchovies that would complement that? And then what textures are we lacking in this dish? It has the soft roasted beet and the anchovy, but there needs to be something like creamy in this dish, or there needs to be something crunchy like a crouton of some sort in this dish. And so then, you start just building off of that, but it always starts with like 2 or 3 ingredients that are proven to go well together. And then the rest of it, I just try to kind of, I guess, come up with in my mind and then plate it, and then you'll realize it's missing a texture, or it has too much going on. And oh, it really didn't need that, you know, swoosh of yogurt because it's already creamy from the aioli that we put on it or whatever, so we'll take something away or after getting it on the plate. How long a dish takes from the idea to getting it on the plate is a huge range of 30 seconds to, I mean, I have a super simple, don't mess with the ingredients, heirloom tomato dish that I thought of that is like, I mean, I thought of it and I literally know exactly how it's going to go on the plate within a minute. And then there's trial and error dishes where we're kind of working on them for 2 weeks. You know, oh, that compote didn't turn out right. We need to just do a whole new batch of that and add these ingredients or take these ingredients away. And it takes 2 weeks for it to show up on the menu. As far as who else is involved, I'm very collaborative with the people I'm working with, and it's like definitely one of my strengths or luck is that I've always had a really good staff wherever I've worked with, and sous chefs and line cooks that are like super passionate about food, and I think that's a combination of luck and also being able to tell someone that shares the same passion as me. So like at the Kenwood, Matthew is my chef de cuisine, and then I've got a guy, DJ, that I promoted to sous chef. But down the line too, I mean, every single person that works in the kitchen with me can have say in either an idea that, you know, I really want to get some tuna in and work with it, and I think it'd be awesome with those chanterelle mushrooms. Well, I'm going to listen to that and possibly work with it. In the case of like Matthew, especially recently, after almost being open a year, he's doing his own dishes that are hitting the Kenwood menu, and a lot of them, especially like this summer. I mean, I think like 5 out of the last 6 dishes that we put on the menu are, you know, 75% to 100% his ideas. Maybe I tweak them a little bit or suggest some things that go into them, but we have that sort of team collaboration going on here. And that is, unless you're working with people that are just robots and do what you say and have no creativity to them, it would be stupid not to use them to help come up with stuff. Because I'll have like those 3 flavor components and maybe 1 aioli that I want, you know, I have an aioli that I want to pair with this fish really bad, but I'm stuck, I have that writer's block or whatnot for anything else to put on the dish. If I just throw it by Matthew, he'll have 2 or 3 other things, and yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I wanted to do, a good example of that is, I really wanted to do a cold asparagus terrine, and I wanted to have a little salad on it with raw mushrooms on it, and that's as far as I could get, and I knew it was not, that's just cold and vegetable tasting, and it needs something else. But I could have thought about that for a week, and I still wouldn't have come up with the right thing. But I throw it past one of my line cooks, and they're like, "What about a big swoosh of Parmesan aioli on it?" Perfect, you know. With just like I knew right when he said that, that's absolutely what it needed. So that's a good example of like, if I don't throw that out there and let people become part of the process, I'm missing out on like a little more catering, big wedding kind of stuff going on that it wasn't me. I mean, I could pull it off, but the whole time I'm like, I want to be cooking for a 50-seat dining room, like, nice food, a la carte, like small stuff, rather than kicking out like 500 chicken breasts. So the food aspect of it to me was like, I'm really missing out on what I wanted to do this for. And then, some of the other things weren't really panning out the way that I thought they were. So I decided that I'd go back to the drawing board and try to open another small restaurant. So we kind of zeroed in on South Minneapolis and got the space across from Cafe Mod and opened in season. And that was very successful. Like, it's a small place, so it doesn't take a lot to fill the seats, and that was good, part of the business plan. It's in a really good neighborhood. I still got to cook the food that I want to, the seasonally changing menu, at maybe a little bit lower of a price point than Fugue's was, so starting to make a little bit better business decisions. And we were really, really successful, and and then 2 years into that, this space became available, and my wife and I looked at it, and we had some customers, some regular customers that would go to in season that are from the Kenwood neighborhood or lived in the Kenwood neighborhood, and talking to people that have lived here, and just realized that there's a huge demand for a cool restaurant that's open all day but still has like the nice dinner service and nice wine and beer list to go in here. And I felt like what I offer, if I expanded, out to the breakfast and brunch and stuff like that, that I would be a good fit to go into the space. So we just took the plunge and opened the second restaurant. And then this spring, in season was struggling, I think partially due to me drawing some of the customers over to here because they're decently close in proximity. It's the same like foodie types that are coming to eat, I guess, my food, but the Kenwood offers like a bigger menu and maybe a little more open, comfortable atmosphere. So I think people were kind of choosing, not everyone, but in general, a lot of customers were coming over to the Kenwood. So in season was still doing okay, but not as good as it was. And then there was huge road construction this whole summer on Penn that a lot of businesses have shut down, not just ours, but basically I decided to pull the plug on in season and kind of cut my losses there and focus on the Kenwood. So we closed in June, and now I'm just focused on the Kenwood.